Marcus Vale didn't date. Not seriously. Not ever. Every woman his family introduced, models, heiresses, Ivy League graduates, was dismissed after one meeting. Not interested, he'd say, tone clipped. No explanation, no second chances. His reputation matched his record. Cold, brilliant, untouchable. At 34, he ran Vale Corp like a machine, clean, fast, precise. Employees admired him. Rivals hated him. The board trusted him to keep the company profitable and scandal-free. Emotions were liabilities. Relationships, distractions. He made time for neither. The only person who questioned that was Harold Vale, his grandfather. The retired founder still had pull, but age was catching up. After surgery, Harold returned home to recover, the estate suddenly full of staff again. Nurses, assistants, cooks. Among them was Ella. She wasn't there to impress anyone. No glossy resume, no connections. Just reliable hands, sharp eyes, and quiet focus. She handled meds and schedules, caught mistakes others missed, kept Harold steady without fuss. Marcus barely acknowledged her. He noticed clean charts, prompt reports, stability. He didn't think to ask who made it all run so smoothly. Ella didn't need recognition. She saw more than anyone realized. Harold's fading energy in the afternoons, the way certain files kept getting moved in his office, the tension Marcus carried when he walked through the house. She didn't comment. Just adjusted, fixed what needed fixing, and stayed out of the way. Others tried to win Marcus over with charm, status, ambition. Ella didn't try at all. That's what made her different. Ella had been invisible her whole life. Not because she lacked substance, but because she never demanded space. She moved quietly, listened more than she spoke, and let others take credit for what she fixed. At the Vale estate, it was no different. The staff liked her because she made their jobs easier. Harold trusted her because she never pretended to know more than she did. She simply paid attention. She noticed the discrepancy in his medication log before the nurse did. She caught the early signs of vertigo when everyone else thought he was just tired. When Harold forgot where he placed an important legal envelope, Ella found it filed incorrectly under an unrelated name. She never made it a moment. She just handed it to him and said, "This looked out of place." What set her apart wasn't intelligence. Plenty of people were smart. It was her precision. She remembered patterns, rhythms, changes. She understood people's habits and noticed when they broke them. That made her dangerous to those with something to hide. Marcus began to see it, though he never said much. He started asking her small things. Had Harold eaten? Was he getting enough sleep? Ella answered directly, always focused on the fact. No flattery. No over-explaining. Just clean, useful truth. She watched Marcus too. Not with curiosity, but with clarity. He wasn't cold, he was calculated. Measured. He watched people the same way she did, only with sharper edges. Trust didn't come easily to him. It was something you earned by being consistent. Ella was. And consistency is what cracked his armor. She became part of his routine without effort. A silent variable he began to factor into his day. He started arriving a few minutes earlier, staying a few minutes longer. Not for anyone else. Just to be around someone who never needed to impress him. He wasn't sure when he started paying attention. Maybe it was the moment she corrected a nurse's error without drawing attention. Maybe it was the time she stood up to a visiting executive who spoke over Harold during a meeting. She didn't raise her voice. She just said, Mr. Vale wasn't finished speaking, and moved on. Simple. Unshakable. Marcus had met people who performed strength. Ella lived it. She wasn't in the room to be seen. But she was starting to become impossible to overlook. Marcus didn't believe in instincts. He believed in data, strategy, and control. But that night, when his phone lit up with Ella's name, he moved without thinking. Harold had collapsed. The nurse panicked. Ella didn't. She stabilized him, called the ambulance, and kept him conscious until help arrived. By the time Marcus reached the estate, order had already been restored. And Ella, calm, steady, focused, was the reason. He stood there, silent, watching her give instructions like she ran the place. No panic, no ego. Just precision. People listened. They didn't question her authority. They didn't need to. For the first time, Marcus saw her not just as capable, but essential. Later, when Harold was resting, Marcus pulled the estate's security footage. He wanted to understand what happened. What he found was more than just the incident. He watched Ella in the days leading up, flagging inconsistencies, moving behind the scenes, fixing small errors no one else caught. Her awareness was surgical, intentional. Then he saw something else. A brief moment, a conversation between Harold and one of Vale Corp's senior board members. It looked casual, but Ella had been there. After the man left, she checked Harold's vitals, looked at his hands, and picked up a small torn slip of paper from the floor. She paused, stared at it, then folded it into her pocket. Marcus found her in the kitchen the next morning. "You saw something," he said. She didn't deny it. Just nodded. "There's something off," she said. "I didn't want to speak out without proof." He studied her face. No fear. No apology. Just clarity. Most people waited for permission. Ella didn't. She waited for truth. That night changed the way he looked at everything. Not just his grandfather's health. Not just the people around them. But her. And it shook him more than he was ready to admit. Marcus didn't sleep. He ran the audit himself. No assistants, no filters. Just access to everything. Internal files, transaction logs, private board communications. And the deeper he went, the worse it looked. Someone had been bleeding the company. Not carelessly, strategically. Small amounts siphoned through shell contract. Legal enough to pass inspection, subtle enough to evade detection. Until now. Ella handed him a report she wasn't supposed to have. Maintenance logs, medication schedules, and estate access records that didn't add up. She'd compiled them quietly. Not because anyone asked, but because something didn't feel right. The board member from the footage, Graham Ward. Trusted for years. Loyal on paper. But the numbers said otherwise. He'd manipulated Harold during recovery, slipped in documents when the old man was drugged or distracted. Marcus confronted him privately. No threats. Just facts. Graham denied everything. But Marcus already had enough to freeze his access. Ella kept digging. She cross-referenced appointment logs with unauthorized office entries, matched handwriting samples, flagged a forged signature Harold would have never given. No one trained her to do this. She simply saw what others didn't and acted. Then came the risk. She intercepted a conversation in the West Corridor. Graham and a junior accountant, voices low, words clipped. She hit record. No theatrics. Just evidence. A single sentence was all it took. Just keep it quiet until the old man's will is updated. Marcus listened to the clip twice. Then once more. "You could have been fired for this," he said. Ella didn't flinch. "You could have lost everything." That's when he knew. She wasn't just loyal. She was fearless. And she was all in. So was he. Marcus moved fast. He replaced key security protocols, reassigned internal audit authority, and brought in an external forensic team under a false compliance review. Every move was clean, silent, and deliberate. He didn't need the board's permission to act, just their confusion long enough to finish. Ella stayed close to Harold, kept him informed without overwhelming him. She filtered noise, guarded access, and made sure the house stayed airtight. No leaks. No loose ends. Marcus trusted her more than anyone now. Not because she promised loyalty, but because she proved it without asking for credit. When he handed her classified files, she didn't ask why. She read, processed, and flagged issues faster than his legal team. She wasn't guessing, she saw structure in the chaos. The fake audit unearthed everything. Kickbacks disguised as consulting fees. Insider deals tucked inside legacy vendor contract. Documents Graham thought were buried were all intact. Ella had already scanned and backed them up. She'd anticipated the panic. When Graham tried to delete key files, the system blocked him. Marcus had cut his access an hour earlier. That night, Graham arrived at the estate, uninvited, loud, desperate. He demanded to speak to Harold. Ella stepped between them. "You don't work here anymore." Her voice didn't rise. Her eyes didn't blink. She didn't move until Graham turned and left. Marcus watched it all from the camera feed. Calm under pressure. No hesitation. He met her in the hallway after. "You were never just a caretaker," he said. "No," she replied. But no one looked close enough to see that. He did now. Every move she made, every quiet decision, every detail she never asked credit for, it was all part of something bigger. And for the first time in his life, Marcus wasn't just impressed. He was moved. The board meeting was quiet at first. Standard agenda, polite smiles, scripted reports. Then Marcus dropped the file. Graham's forged contract. The altered will documents. The voice recording. He named names, detailed transactions, exposed connections. No theatrics, just precision. He laid out every move Graham made, how he manipulated Harold, how he exploited recovery time, how he nearly rewrote the future of ValeCorp behind closed doors. Stunned silence followed. Then disbelief. Then fear. Because if Marcus could expose one of their own so completely, no one else was safe from scrutiny. He didn't gloat. He just made it clear. This was over. Harold's voice cut through the room. Steady, sharp. He confirmed everything. He thanked Marcus for protecting the company. But then, turning toward the far end of the room, he added, "And thank Ella. She caught what we all missed." Some eyes darted in confusion. Who? Marcus didn't explain. He didn't need to. Later, outside the building, the air felt different. Lighter. Quieter. Ella stood by the car, arms crossed, waiting like she always did, present but never demanding. Marcus walked up, handed her a slim black folder. Inside, a position offer. Not in housekeeping. Not in care. Chief Integrity Officer. Reporting directly to him. "I don't do titles," she said. "I don't hire for them," he replied. She opened it, flipped through the pages, then looked at him. "You trust me with this?" "I already have." For once, she smiled. Marcus had spent years building walls. He thought they protected him. But she hadn't knocked them down, she'd simply seen through them. With quiet presence. With relentless precision. With integrity no title could capture. And that was how the cold CEO finally saw the one person everyone else had overlooked. Not just as an ally. As the one.